Welcome to day 3 of FSD. So not last week, a week before, we had only 2 sessions and we discussed on essentials of JavaScript, basics of JavaScript. Like what are variables, what is hoisting, what are arrays, what are objects, what are strings, and all of them, right? No? Yes, no? Yes. Today we are continuing that, but not on the too basic on thing. We are just leveling up ourselves now. Today we'll be talking on some callback functions. You know, we remember like we have the types of functions like general functions, arrow functions, immediately invoked function expressions. We'll add one more type of function today to the types of functions, that is callback functions. And with the help of callback functions, after learning them, we'll try to jump directly to asynchronous operations. Right? So while you are doing your projects, asynchronous operations are very important. And how do you handle them? What are the different ways you can do? What are the drawbacks of one over other? We'll try to look into that. And we'll try to simulate the same example for the 3 different types of asynchronous operations, so that sits into your mind and you do more on it. Alright? So let's start with that. Today we'll start with first one, callback functions. So as we already looked into the types of functions, only we have seen the 4 types of functions. Today we are going to add the 5th one to that, that is callback functions. So what is a callback function? Anybody knows about it already? What is callback function? What is callback function? Whenever, real-time example, whenever you miss one of your friend call, what do you do? Oh, yes, callback. Whenever you're busy but you answer your friend call, and what do you say to him? You'll call back. What does that mean there? You wanted to re-talk to your friend, and the phrase you are trying to use there is callback. You are doing some task over there. Currently you are doing some task. Within that you would like to do some other, after finishing of this task you would like to do another task. Did I sense correct? Yes? Now, so that's one thing. When you nest a function within another function, I'm not talking on the closures please. Okay? I'm calling inside another function as an argument. As an argument. How do you do this? By passing as a parameter. While calling a function, you know, addition. For example, addition of 2 numbers, you would pass like add of 2 comma 3. Those 2 comma 3 are the parameters you are trying to pass. The receiving end will receive that as an argument. Now while calling that addition, you would like to pass not the values, but you would like to pass in another function. So that reminds you that I have to take this function and I need to do after some task is been done. That addition function, after addition function, you have to do some other task. Am I making sense, everybody? Right? So this is, we are trying to call as a, pass as an argument please, not as a function in another function. That is another type of functions. I'll try to talk that when the situation comes. Alright? That is function within another function, we call them as in closures, and how do that perform, we'll talk when the situation comes, not today. This place. You see there, we have 2 functions over there. Function 1 is doing something, function 2 is doing something. All the way down, I have something called, I'm calling the 2 function. Now, to the 2 function, I'm calling the 1, which is not a string over there. It is another function. I hope you're making it, right? So, you're passing 1 as a, all the way down please. While calling the 2 function, you're passing 1, which is a function, as an argument, as a parameter. That will be given to the function 2 over there, and that come and sit into the call one. You know, you always know that the parameters, the what you call that? Parameters and arguments need not be the same names, can be anything. that one go and sit into the call underscore one. You are doing something in the call function 2. At the end, you are trying to call the call one. All right? Does it make sense? Does the basic syntax make sense, everybody? Right? Let's continue this. Why do we use these callbacks then? Why do you use it? When you would like to establish a connection or relationship between multiple functions. There may be one or more functions related. We will eventually, we'll increase more and more functions. All right? We'll try to make a relationship between them. That relationships can be the type of the work which has to be done first, or at what time what work has to be done first. I'm taking an example for today, like as an ice cream shop, where you'll be ordering an ice cream that has to be prepared and served to the customer. All right? So, how does that works internally then? I'm taking like as an example of a timer. All right? You already know the JS engine and the call stack. Now, how the callback works? If the callbacks generally takes the timer, not necessarily. Again, I'm saying this is an optional. If you are in real-time scenarios, something are dependent on, some functionality is dependent on another functionality. Unless you log into your telescope or the tessellator, you cannot do any activity. Login is the first action to be done. Unless you do that, you cannot do any activity. Yes or no? So first you need to check the functionality. You need to check, does the student logged in or not? Are you everybody, are you all with me? I hope I'm making sense. One after the other, please. Likewise, there are series of actions to be done. When you are trying to attempt any activity, is it an MCQ based or any program based? If it is a program based, is it a Java or Python or something else? Are you trying to save it or are you trying to run it? If you want to run it, you need to save it first. After saving only, you can run and evaluate. Right? This is a series of actions. There may be some dependencies. Visualize in that way, please. All right? So, there is some timing thing. If something, this is what I'm trying to talk about, the timing option over here. Set timeout is one of the callback function. So, how does that works? Let me help you out. We already know the call stack in the from the previous class. So, whenever you are calling some function, this is in JavaScript for code that comes to the call stack. And for example, one of the function is taking some time to be done and it is dependent on some action. All right, that goes to an, if it is an timers or fetch API, you will be learning them in coming classes. All right, if it is taking some time and if this time is elapsed, I mean, if the time has been done already, does it come back to the call stack for execution? No. What it does, it will never come back like this. It comes to the callback queue. It comes to the callback queue and waits here. If all the tasks are done on the call stack, then if the call stack is an empty, then only it comes to the call stack and gets executed. All right, and who is taking care of this? You will see, you are seeing a circle over there. This is called as an event loop. Who is taking care? Event loop is taking care. Okay, for example, I have like 3 or 4 timer functions. First timer function comes over here. For example, if it is taking like 5 seconds, it will wait for 5 seconds to be done, all of them. The second timer function is taking the 3 seconds. So, you know, 3 seconds is less than the 5 seconds. This 3 seconds will come to the callback queue first, all right? Then 5 seconds will come to the callback queue. I have taken only 2 examples of 3 and 5 seconds. Now, if nothing is pending over here, 3-second one, which though the 5-second one is called first, but 3-second has occupied in the queue. You know, queue data structure, first in, first out. This occupied the queue first, that comes to the call stack now, it gets executed. And then 5 come to the call stack and gets executed. The result and what are the data it is coming with, all will be stored in the callback and comes to the call stack. When it is free, then it gets executed, please. It doesn't mean that 5 has been called first and it will come first to the queue. Alright, there is something called micro task queue again. We will not talk on details of it. When the situation comes, I'll talk on it. I hope I made sense on it. How does it is working? And callback, you see, the name itself is trying to tell us over here, it's a callback queue. It's not a general queue here. Whom have to call first? Who is in the waiting list? Here, if you want to prioritize, that can be done from your logic, but this is an internal working of our JavaScript engine. I cannot prioritize on it. It is prioritizing on which has been available first and which has got the result first and waiting for its response to be given. All right. So let me continue from here. So the best examples to talk on callbacks are map, reduce, and filter functions. All right. So map, reduce, filter. What are these? These are ES6 proposed functions, callback functions, which you can work with all the iterable things. Can be an array, can be an objects, can be a JSON. All right. JSON you need to convert into the object first, then only you can work on it directly. All right. So map, let's start with the first one. Map, please. You are trying to map to something. All right. Name itself is trying to tell. It's a small example so that you can understand on it. I have emojis over here. I would like to give for all the emojis goggles for it or glasses for it. For every emoji. That emoji can be a list of array, that emoji can be a list of objects, can be anything. Alright? You take an array over here, 1, 2, 3, 4 is in, you see all the way down here, 1, 2, 3, 4 is an array. I would like to add plus 5 to all the elements. Usually what we do, we'll write a loop, alright? We'll write a loop and iterate through all the elements and add plus 5 to all of them and store into the result. Here, we will use a map function so that easily, you need not write a loop for it. You will write just a map function which takes a callback. This callback can be an again function. You see function which is passed as an argument. Let's see an example for this then. Here, all the way down please. A is an array over here, for example, dot map, the current element and current element plus y. You need not write any loop over here. Basic, simple syntax here. Okay, before going further, what do you see here? Current element, arrow here, current element plus y. Is it a statement? Is it a line of statement or something else? What do you think? We already looked into that actually. Types of function, one of the type of the function. Arrow function, can I call arrow function that? But no parameters on it. Fat arrow, everybody. This one. Do you remember the last? I know it's been long back, 10 days back, I understand that one. At least you might have remembered the syntax, how do you write a function? Fat arrow function. Alright? So this is how you will be writing please. What does it mean? Is it going to manipulate, okay, I'll take slowly on it. Is it going to manipulate the original array? Or is it going to give us a new array? You need to know this, everybody. Does map on array, whatever, it's an object on array or anything, is it going to manipulate the original input? No, it is not going to manipulate the original input. It is going to give us the new output. It is not going to manipulate, work on the original input, but not manipulating the original one place. Original one is still preserved. All right. Let me take an example. I hope you already have this practice open for you. If you want, you can practice along with me. Let me take the same example there. Let my array equals to, or else let me have as an A. A is an array which has an 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. A dot map. What does the map does? It tries to iterate through each and every element on in the A place, because on that you are trying to map. If it is a string, on each character of the string you are trying to work on it. All right. So what you would like to do? Iterate. Remember, like index, the first element will come to the current element. Let me say as of now it's a 1. What you would like to do? I am writing a function here, or else you can write a separate function and call it, please. All right. Let me do that way first, or I think this would be easy for you. So arrow function, what I would like to do on the one I got, I want square of it. Current element into current element. All right. So let me try to print the A here, so that you would understand, is it working on the original array or it's returning the new array. Let me run this. It's still 1, 2, 3, 4. That means original array did not got manipulated. So it is returning a new array. Let me store that into let my new mapped array. Let me log this. Do you see that, everybody? 1, 4, 9, 16. So general way, how do you do squares of each element in an array? We will write a loop, iterate through each element, will perform multiply with the same number, and we return whatever it has been returned. Everybody, am I making sense here? Does the map function is clear to you now? Yes? So now tell me where callback is happening here. The callback is happening. Map is a function. For the function, I am passing another function that is called as a square, performing square on it. Square is also another function. Instead of writing square as function separately, what did I do? I wrote within the map function itself, within that parameters itself. Is the syntax clear to you, everybody? Yes? Any questions? Any confusion? All right. So map is a callback function. Example, you can give that as a callback function. Similarly, I'll give you time to work on these exercises, please. Similarly, we have reduce. What do you mean by reduce? I hope I have the reduce as a second one. Yeah, reduce. Reduce, for example, you are given an array of elements. I want you to perform sum of all the elements. What do you do again? You will iterate through an array. You will have a variable called sum. You go on increment the value sum plus array of I. Yes or no? right? Now, I'll do that with a reduce function, inbuilt function, and which is also a callback. The syntax of reduce is little different, alright. So, example here, you see there is a different emojis over here. I would like to combine all of them. The one with an hair, the other one without hair but with goggles, with specs, the other one without hair and without specs. Alright? I am trying to reduce to all these three has to be combined, I want to do this. What are the scenarios you can imagine on the real time things, please? For example, you own a company, every month you would like to know what is the salary you are paying, sum of all the salaries you are trying to pay for your employees. You can reduce the salary field and you can get the sum of all of them. You know, employee means not only the salary, right? Employee has, imagine the object, employee ID, name, role, experience, all of them. Among it, one of it is a salary. You would like to perform only on the salary. I don't want any other fields. I wanted to reduce the data on the salary and get the sum of the salaries of all the employees I'm paying every month. Imagine that's a e-commerce site. You would like to know what's the cost, what are the stock I hold in my warehouse. I wanted to know what's the account of it. What's the cost of all of them, so that I can know how much stock I own as of now. Am I making sense, everybody? We can take to any scenario you would like to do, any project you can imagine. Alright? So here again, I took the same example here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would like to perform sum of all the elements there and I would be getting 50. How do I do that? So please look at the last line here, reduce. This time it is taking two things, not the one thing. Alright? Accumulator and the current element. In the map we already have the current element. Here we have the new thing called accumulator. Alright? So let's try to work with this. The same example here. Let me comment out this. A dot reduce takes the two parameters. Since it is two parameters, let me enclose that into the parameter one, to the parenthesis. Alright? Perform something on it, I'll do something on it. Takes one more parameter here. Okay, first let me write what are they. Accumulator. Accumulator is something like where you would like to hold the value, updated value, where you would like to hold it. Kind of a variable, some variable. Alright? Some variable. So to make it more readable, let me talk that as in sum, comma, the current element, and what I would like to do, sum plus current element. Does this works? No. What is the initial value of the sum I need to know? That you pass as a, this is up to here. Comma 0. Let's run this. Let me take that to the let result. It returns a single value, please. Let me try to log it, everybody. Console.log result. It's 10 because I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, let me walk through this again. Some iterable dot reduce. This will result a single value. Everybody look at the line 3. Reduce function takes two parameters. One is a function, the other one is the initial value. Initial value has to be stored stored into the accumulator, pardon the spellings, and the function what you would like to write here, your logical part comes here. Am I making sense, everybody, on the syntax? Reduce will take the two parameters, a callback function, comma, initial value. Initial value will come and sit into the accumulator over here, and the next part in the function is a logical part, what you would like to do on it. Alright? On the similar note, let's try to take one more callback function called, I'll give some time please. One more function called filter. Filter. You say I want to filter the person with the glasses. So you will be getting only the glasses. For example, the sale is going on now, Amazon sale and Flipkart sale. You would like to filter according to your budget. From the huge collection, it tries to filter on your budget. If it is an e-commerce site, that's an example I can give. If it is an employee management system, I wanted to get the employees who are software developers. I want to filter out the persons who are in the range of salary 1 lakh to 2 lakh. I want to filter out the persons who are more than 3 years experience so that I can give them promotions. Now it depends upon your project now, how do you would like to filter. Alright? So you see there, I want in the example 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I would like to filter out who are greater than 3, which are greater than 3. Alright? So how do you write that? So again, filter creates a new array please, and like this. Very simple one, like map. Alright? Let me try to work on this. A dot filter takes a callback function and it returns a new array. It is not going to manipulate the original array. It is not going to disturb the original array. What does the filter does? It gets each and every element from it, and whatever you would like to do on it, do it, but it is not going to manipulate the original array. So it's going to return a new array. Let me call that as a new filtered array. Alright? So how do you would like to get? So you'll get every element as a current element and write a functionality for it. What you would like to do? Do you want to filter that element? I wanted to filter the elements which are odd numbers. So what do you do now? Current element holds the current value. If it is divisible by, not divisible in fact, if it is not divisible by 2, not equals to 0, then filter it out. Then what does it do? 1 comes to here, is it divisible by 2? No. Go and sit into the new filter array. Next comes the 2 divisible by 2, yes. Not divisible, it is divisible, so it will not go and sit into the new filtered array. Yes, it is not divisible, go and sit into the filtered array. 4, it is divisible, does not go and sit into the filtered array. Let's try to log it. Odd numbers. Let's run this. 1 and 3. Alright? Yeah. I hope you can see everything now. So all three callback functions, basic callback functions, filter, reduce and map is here. With this knowledge, we are going to start 3 exercises separately for map, reduce, filter. It has not the array of objects. Array of objects. We wanted you to work on it.
Yeah, Bilahari, before starting, you can meanwhile set up the exercise. I would like to know the key takeaways of what you learned just now. If anyone can answer, go ahead.
Please talk on it, please.
No, meanwhile you can set up the exercise.
We have already.
What are the key takeaways? By the way, why are you learning JavaScript? Most of your projects are on React Native or Flutter, which is Dart. How many of you are working with a non-JavaScript front end? Flutter. How many of you are working with Flutter? Your projects on Flutter?
1, 2.
Okay, so definitely you need to know something on JavaScript. Okay, so there are 5 important questions. Generally, it will asked in one-on-one round. Basically, I work as a project manager, so I know what questions are. First of all, how many of you tell JavaScript is a programming language? Please raise your hand. JavaScript, what Bilahari is talking about, sir is talking about, is a programming language. Only 1, 2, 3, 4. JavaScript. How many of you say JavaScript is not a programming language? Oh my God. Okay, only 1 raise. May I know your good name, please? Okay, Srinivas, tell me what is it then? Very good. JavaScript is a scripting language. Yes, your colleague is right. So it is a scripting language. Now next question which is connected to it. Sorry for taking away 5 minutes, but I want it to be connected. If it is scripting language, so what is the difference between scripting language and programming language? What is the difference? Scripting and programming. You saw the difference here when he was executing it. But what is that? Anyone? What is the difference between scripting language and programming language? By the way, JavaScript stands world's top 2 second language which is commonly used in most of the projects. First is Python, second is JavaScript. By the way, you should know that. Why? What is the difference between scripting and programming? If you know, please raise your hand, or else I'll tell the answer. No? Okay. So programming language has compilers. Scripting language does not have compilers. They have interpreters. When you try to see, you get line executed, and when you encounter a problem, it stops. It shows there is an issue at this line. It stops executing rest of the code. Whereas programming languages, they get compiled. And you get all the errors with line numbers, blah, 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 blah. And then compiled language is interpreted. That is what programming language does. Whereas Java, C++, Python all come into that category. Whereas Visual Script, JavaScript is not a programming language. It is a... Yes. Pardon? Interpreter, yeah. Now, there are 2 versions of Python. Yes, he is correct. Python uses an interpreter, but so most of the previous, if you go to Python 2 version, it is a programming. But whereas Python 3, it has is a mixture of scripting and programming. Because Python uses interpreter at current moment. We'll see that later, because how that how that turn happened, we can see in our DL sessions. I thought of asking those questions there, but okay. So follow-up question on this is, you saw filter, map, reduce. Let us take reduce here. Now reduce is nothing but it is summing all the values which are in the array. Yes? You can use for loop for that. Why why you want this special callback function. You can use sum of all the array elements and get the value. But why reduce particularly? Is there any meaning for it? Why? Why is that? Yes. Tell your good name and
Yeah, so we would use the for loop when we know the length, and for reduce, here we don't know the length of the array.
absolutely correct if you don't know length, because initialization and the condition check. Here we need not. It goes on till the array elements are exhausted. That's the right answer. That's how you simplify yourself. How, and second thing is the length of the code. If I don't know whether they know time complexity and space complexity, when you come into that zone to work up with the code, then you will understand why you should not use for loop. Because when you use for loops particularly, your time complexity increases of n square. We'll see that later on in DS sessions. But when time complexity increases, your for small logics, it's fine. But when a lot of people who are trying to access your website is down because it tries compiling, processing that data, fetching the JSON and do. So that is not worth. So here, these anonymous classes, these are all anonymous. What you saw, reduce and all, they come handy. So the anonymous functions, they come handy. Okay, there are many questions that I want you to ask, right? And I would like even trainers to just talk about that once the exercise is done. Yeah, Bilahari, are you ready with the exercise? Yeah, go ahead.
Exercise has started. It's not a simple array over there. It's an array of objects. Array of objects. How do you read objects? Firstly, how do you read? How do you get every element in an array? Through index. At that index, it's not the direct value like 1, 2, 3, 4 there. It's another object there. How do you read objects? Through their, somebody answered slowly, it's through their keys. Think on it. Which key you have to work for that exercise? To walk you through, convert array of objects to an array of strings using maps. You have an array of user objects and you need to create an array of their names. I already given an users over there. Alright? Alice, Bob, Charlie, David. I want you to get only the names of it. So using map, users.map, get an element, and on that element, it's not a single value here, it's an object over here. How do you get in an object only the name here? In this example, we have only the name and age, but in real time, you have the more details. Think on it. Write your logic here. It's a single line, and you already know we already logging the usernames here. So to this, you need to understand your return value, whatever the new array or whatever the new string you are trying to create has to be the usernames. Try to debug this. It has to be enclosed in curly braces. Example, return something. Let me take a previous example. You see here, imagine this I am trying to split into the multiple lines. Current element modulo division by 2 is not equals to 0. I am trying to split that into the multiple lines instead of the single line. So what do I do for this? You write a curly braces, please. Alright? Do remember, if you are writing the curly brace, that means it is, when you write a curly brace, you have a more line of code. If you are writing more lines of code or using a curly brace, then it has to be written. It has to return. Whatever you are returning here, that come and sit into this new array here. All right. What I'll do, I'll copy this line. Two different flavors, please. This is first one, or this is another one without return. All right. Towards the end, there is no curly brace. Let me comment one of the line. Yeah. This will help you in the third exercise, filter one. In case you stuck somewhere, please let me know. If you feel these are small exercises or the bigger exercises, you have to do them. It's also included for your curriculum, please. How many of you done the program 1? Good. Program 2? Oh, 3? Working. Okay. Oh, 3. Reduce, you know, like reduce will return a single value. My exercise, while explaining, I have taken an array. Obviously, sum of all the elements will lead in single value. Here in this one, these are the list of users. I want you to reduce on, it's like similar to the filter, but we do not want you to use the filter here. So, we want you to get an output like this, group all the users with 21 age like this, 22 age like this. So, this has to be done using reduce. Now, tell me one thing, is it a single value here? Yes, of course, you see these are enclosed in an curly brace. What does a curly brace mean? What does a curly brace mean? Object, right? Square brackets mean array. You can take either array or an object to store this kind of a value. And in this case, there's this kind of a thing. What is this? Key and value pair. My key is the age over here, and the values are values with more than one user here. So, my value will be array. Strictly use only reduce, not any filter. Remaining 20 plus members, are you struggling?
So throughout the week, you're keeping it open throughout the week? Okay, so after the week, you're going to close down. Okay, got it.
All right. To help you out in the last one, I have a users dot reduce. As you know, reduce will take the two parameters. The first one will be the callback function, comma the initial value of the accumulator. Here, since I am doing more than, it's not a single value to start with like 0 or 1 like this. It's in that I am going to hold a multiple things. So, that can be an object or that can be an array where I can hold multiple things. So, to do that, what I am trying to do at this moment, let me try to hold object, because my output, if you look at this is a object. That's why I wanted you to know from the basics. We started with a very basic level in the last week. So, my accumulator is not a single value, it's a single object now. Now, reduce function, initial accumulator, whatever it can be, let me call that as an ACC. So, or else OBJ which I got it. So, object which I created here is associated with an OBJ. In the second one, try to get an each user. From the user, I am trying to get each user here. Now, what you would like to do with the user, you decide now. Since I cannot do that in the one step, I am trying to write that in a block of steps. Write in a block. So far clear, everybody? Am I making sense so far? Object is my result value. The initial object which I created here. To resemble that obj and this object, I kept the same name. Alright? Each user from the users, I'm trying to get into the user. Now you check user's age. Now, how do you check? Do we have that age already in an object? Because ultimately I need to, that data has to go and sit into the object here. How do you check that one? If you recollect the last class, my object of something like user dot age. For example, the first one is Alice and 21 is object of 21. Do we have in it or not? If no, try to get my object value and assign to that. That is all, please. Otherwise, if it is not there, empty array, so that I can make more values, because I can get more and more same age users. That's the reason I'm trying to put that into an array. Let me redo this. First one, Alice and 21. Alice and 21, is it already available or not? User.21. If it is not available, create an empty array and push that to the 21 associated one. So output of this would be 21 colon so and so a empty array. All right. Let me remove this. Now to this array, I need to push the names of it. So how do I do? Obj of user.age, take the dot push, since it is an array, dot push user dot name. Only names I am pushing. This would return a value. So let me take that into, what is that value should be? Group by age. Let group by age. I hope I made sense. Let me run for this. Oh, taking little long. Cannot read 22, one moment. There might be a typo. 22. All right. Now you tell me what I'm missing. I know what I'm missing. You are not returning. You know, if you are writing more than one statement, you need to return. I'm missing the return statement here. Return what? What should come and sit into the group by age? What should come and sit into my group by age? Object. Connection closed. I hope, okay, I'm little bit down actually. You see, this is my output. I hope I'm expecting the same thing here. Yes. Here's the solution for you all. I know I wanted to make this as a complex one. Working on it is very important. I would have taken the array and asked you to reduce on it. That's a very simple task to do.
Yeah, Bilahari, I have a question now.
Yeah.
We have given the solution and you kept the program open. Everyone is going to copy paste it. Everyone is going to get 100 out of 100.
Let them, sir. This is the first complex one.
My question is the next one. Now you are keeping this program open for 1 week. The person who are not attending these sessions will come next day or sit outside the auditorium, copy the code what this friend has done. Even E is getting 100 of 100. Now tell me how are you going to solve this?
Sir, as we said, we will open the programs towards the weekend, but the performance will be taken at the end of the weekend.
So you're telling the grade is only for today, but after anybody submits, no grade will not be taken?
No, sir.
Okay, grade will not be taken.
Yeah.
After
Okay.
today's submissions,
After today's submission, today. Got it.
end of this day.
Good. So it will be open, but grades will not be accepted.
Open for the practice.
Okay, got it. Thank you for that.
All right, let me check how many of you done. We need to be little fast today now. Can we go further? I'm only worried about the third.
So far, the first one submitted by 238,
Good.
and there are new logins, 6 logins. Okay. And program 2 by 237. Program 3 by 161.
Make it fast, guys. I'm moving further now. With this callback functions as base, I would like to talk on a new concept, asynchronous operations. What is synchronous operation? What is an asynchronous operation? I will not focus much on the synchronous. For understanding asynchronous, we need to know this little bit of the synchronous. So, asynchronous operations. Why I took callbacks? Because asynchronous operations, we need a callback basic. All right. So, yeah. Asynchronous operation, you see this? I said like ice cream example. I have a fruits. I am cutting it and using as in flavors of it, right? We are going to build an ice cream shop example today and learn asynchronous using that example, so that you will feel and know what is happening in it. So how do you do all the asynchronous operations? The first way using the callbacks, you know what has to be called when, and second way by using and promises, third way by using asynchronous and async and await. One of an theoretical question and interview questions also, how do you do asynchronous operations? Okay, for your unit test or I mean to say mid exam also it may come up. So we can do that in a 3 ways using callbacks, promises and async await operations. I mean async await way. All right. So callback, again I said before I said that set timeout, right? You can take that as an example. All right. So let's go further. What is synchronous and asynchronous? Synchronous example, you can see here, it is happening one after the other. You see the 3 images loading up there. After first image loads, second image loads. After second image loads, third image loads. Asynchronous operation, you can see there, all 3 are trying to load at a time. I mean, it's not dependent. It's not dependent. Synchronous, one after the other. That handshake has to be done. Asynchronous, you need not wait. If it is an independent task, you need not wait for any other thing. You can do it by your own. If it is dependent, when that has to come. For example, in asynchronous operation, second picture has to load, start its loading when the first picture loads for 10%. You can take that option. All right? Remaining 90% is not dependent on the first image. I mean, second image is not dependent on the 90% of the first image. Only 10% is dependent. That flexibility, that conditions you can make out. So basically understand, synchronous is not dependent, synchronous is dependent, one after the other only we can do, whereas asynchronous operations, independently you can work on them. If you want them to be dependent one on filling on doing something and then start something, you can write that conditions using if else and all of them. Does it make sense, everybody? All right? Synchronous and asynchronous. Let's take an ice cream example, ice cream shop example. So this is a task I would like to do. These are the tasks, please. Customer, where are the red one? Those are only the customer things. The remaining all the back-end things. Customer will place the order and he will be waiting for you to serve the ice cream. After serving the ice cream, he will eat it and leave. Alright, the first step, place the order. Second step, cut the fruits depending on the flavors. Third step, add back-end thing, please. In the kitchen it happens. Add ice and water. Start the machine. Select the container, cup, what do you call that? This is cone, yeah, cone, cup, sticks, different types of ice creams. Select the toppings, which flavor do you like? You like the chocolate, you like dry fruits, all depends upon. And after all you done in the kitchen, it's ready for serving. Self-explanatory, I did not talk much on it. So let's try to simulate this with for all the three types of asynchronous operations. Set timeout, second one promises, third one async await. So these are the small important steps, but timing is important. What do you feel? After replacing the order, can I directly select the toppings in the kitchen? No, I need to first cut the fruit. After cutting the fruit only, I can add some water and ice and freeze it something. Then start the machine and put everything in it. Then take the container and whatever it is prepared in the machine has to be put onto the cup or the cone or stick, whatever he chooses, customer chooses, and then toppings on it. I cannot do immediately. These are dependent tasks. All right. Let's try to take a timer for each step here. All right. Storeroom, back end, and kitchen is the front end. For the back end, all the ingredients, the storeroom will have all the ingredients as our back end, like what are the toppings you want, what are the container you want, what are the fruits you want, all of them will have in the warehouse, like as in back end. All right. We'll produce an ice cream in our kitchen, the front end, and we'll try to serve to the user, customer. So our fruits, strawberry, grapes, banana, and apple. So how do I store? What data structure I need to use to store this? Backend. What data structure I need to use to store this? Pardon? Can I use array? Array, grapes, strawberry, banana, apple. Yes, I can use, right? Fruits, strawberry, grapes, banana, and apple. Where all I am trying to put this into? My stocks. Stock is an object. Last rows, can you see the last one?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Let's other ingredients, holders, cone, cup and stick, toppings, chocolate and sprinkles. I'm trying to take now sprinkles as peanuts here. You can always extend your options. All right. Fruits already there. Holders, cone, cup, stick, toppings, chocolate, peanuts, and liquid, water and ice. So my object is ready with the stocks. And in that I have the key value pairs according to their types. Fruits, liquid, toppings and holders. Are you clear so far, everybody? We are making everything ready. All right. Now, these are the process now. Order from customer, fetch ingredients from the back end, start production and serve. Let's take the timers for them. First we'll write it. Let me try to get it. Here is my practice. I'm sorry, it did not copy it. It's not copying.
Yeah, Bilahari, copy paste is disabled
I'm sorry, I
in the
forgot.
notebooks.
Yeah. All right then. Let stocks. Will that be okay if I show you on the PPT, everybody? Will you follow up, or you want me to write to save the time? Right, huh? All right. Stocks equals to object. First one, fruits, colon. What are the fruits I have? Grapes, strawberry, grapes, banana and apple. You can do along with me, everybody. Strawberry, grapes, banana, apples, apple. Next comes liquid. You know, we need ice and water. Ice, I hope ice and water. Water and ice. If you want to add the milk also, please go on. Next comes holders. I have 3 different holders at this moment: cone, cup and stick. Cone, cup. Do along with me, everybody. Sticks or stick. And I have the toppings. Please feel free to add up your own favorite topics here. Chocolates. I don't go. Chocolate and peanuts. You can add dry fruits. All right. This is my back end ready as of now. All right. Let's continue. We will have the 2 different functions: to take the order and to produce the ice cream. All right. Write 2 different functions. Let me keep simple function, not an arrow function or something. If you are feeling comfortable with an arrow function, go ahead. Function production. All right. Are you all with me? Now let's go ahead. Let's get started. Simple functions. If you are comfortable with arrow functions, go ahead. Or let me do with an arrow function only. And let let's try to write simple logs as of now. To are we getting it correct or not? Start, take an order or order confirmed. And one more log here, console.log production started. All right. Now, how do I call this? First, call the order function. For the order function, after taking the order, you need not wait for calling the production. So basically what you do, first call the order, then you will call the production. I don't want this to happen as in 2 different function calls. I want that to be happen as a callback function. So for order, I'm passing production. So what does this becomes now? callback function. All right. So order should receive the production. This name and this name, all right, need not match. Can be any other, any name also. So whatever you are trying to use here, one moment, and let me call the production callback function. What I received over here, I need to call it. All right. My arrow function has to be like this. My bad. All right. So let me run this. New filtered array. I think I did not commented it. You can see order confirmed and production started. Now let's try to simulate the timer for them. Are you all with me so far? Could you run along with me? How many of you run along with me? Only few. Make it fast, please. Now we are going to simulate this. This is how I established the connection also. Now I already logged the simple messages also. Now let's introduce the timers here. I'm going little fast. In case you want me to stop, please raise your hand. Everybody all are with me? Say yes or no? Yes. Now for placing order, we need 2 seconds. At least you need to look at the menu and place the order, right? 2 seconds. Cut the fruit. 2 seconds. The numbers there denotes the time it needs for each task. Add ice and water 1 second. Start the machine 1 second. Selecting container 2 seconds. Selecting toppings 3 seconds. Serve ice cream 2 seconds. Let's simulate this. To do this with set timeout is a function I'm using, please. Set timeout is another callback function which takes 2 parameters. The first parameter is the function and the logic what you would like to do in that function. Second parameter is in how many seconds does it takes in milliseconds. Actually not in seconds, it's milliseconds. All right, let's try to do this, please. 1000 equal to 1 second. Let's do this. I already have that here. Now, while placing order, the user, the customer has to select the fruit and of course holder also. At this moment, let's stick to 1, 1. Let our customer decide the fruit. I want that to be passed. While ordering itself, I want grapes to be my flavor. My fruit, my ice cream flavor has to be the grapes. So that flavor would come from the first index in the fruits array. I'll use it whenever required, just for understanding. Now I do not want this. If you want, you can do that as well. Now here, set timeout. I think timeout. Upper, lowercase, okay. Takes the 2 parameters. One is a callback function. If you would like to write a function name and do it, go do it. And order giving, how many seconds does it will take? Placing order, how much time does it take? 2 seconds. So pass the 2000 millisecond. Now, let me take this into here. For readability purpose, I am trying to put this into the new lines. I hope this is making sense, everybody. All right? Are you all with me? Are you all with me? Let's try to look into this. Let me run. I did not use in my grape array at this moment. 1 second. Production is not a function. Okay, I did not took that one here. You know, I'm passing the two values here. That's why. Production started. Order confirmed. You see, this is not happening properly. I'm running one more time. My first output is production started, later order confirmed. First you will take an order or you will start the production order. So how do I do this now? After 2 seconds, you need to call your productions. What is happening? Remember the event loop? It went for 2 seconds and went to the callback queue. Meanwhile, the other statement is getting executed, which should not happen because my production is dependent on the order you placed, customer placed. So I cannot start the production without the customer desire, what all he wants. So this is how you can do this. So let me run this again. You see? Both at a time. After 2 seconds, it got both. Now, production as per our requirement, cut the fruit has to come first. Okay? Now, don't call the production now, cut the fruit first. Now look into that, or else let me comment out this one. Cut the fruit will take 1 second as per our requirement. So take one more set timeout. Set timeout within another set timeout, please. Set timeout will take the two parameters, callback function, comma, timer. As per our statement, it has to be the 1 second. Let me write the console log here. Fruit has been cut or else chopped something. What is that fruit? I already have the fruit name here. So let me write that fruit name. Now tell me, help me in right. I want the fruit name which I got here to be printed here. Recollect your strings. Backticks. Thank you. Backticks. Now the fruit name is in the fruit name over here. This is in lowercase f. So I can use dollar symbol to do that. This is called dereferencing. Alright. Fruit name, what are the fruit name you pass it there? I passed 1 actually. So where do I get this fruit name? Actually, what is it written here? 1 has been chopped. Let's run this. Let me put this here. One has been chopped. I don't want 1, I want the grapes. How do I get it? My 1 is from the stocks of fruits of 1. So how do I get it, please? Help me in that, or you do it at your end. Now production cannot be started before the fruit is been chopped. It has to come after this. So for readability, let me put this all in the new lines. Now put my production. You try to get the fruit name correctly here. Now you know how to destructure from the stocks. Get it done, please. Now add ice and water. Oh, cut the fruit is taking 2 seconds, man. Sorry. Add ice and water. It's taking 1 second. So within this, one more set timeout. I know where it is leading. If you already know about callback help, wait for me. We'll talk about that. Set timeout will take two parameters, function, comma, timer. Ice and water will take 1 second of time. So let me get this message here and put it here. Added ice and water. If you wanted to get it from the stocks, use the destructuring correctly and do, but I'm just directly printing added ice and water. So for readability, I'm putting this down. Alright, production has to be done after my ice and water. Now within the after set timeout of water and ice, start the machine again 1 more second. Here, set timeout. Will take two parameters. 1 second. What was that? Start the machine. Console.log. Machine started. All right. Now production after water. This time I will not wait, please. I will continue. Container, toppings and serving. Container, set timeout. Console.log. Container selected. And it is for 1 second. If I am not wrong, 2 seconds. So put this down. One more. Yeah, production. All right. Select toppings, 3 seconds. Select timeout. Toppings added and would take, I think I forgot to close this, and would take 1 second. No, 3 seconds. Did I close it correctly? Yes. Within this, my production. Okay. Then serve the ice cream. Callback function and timer. So how much time? 2 seconds. Console.log. Ice cream or serve ice cream. All right. Now I have done all of them. If you see this, one within another. All right. Let's run this. Actually, production started should not be here. After order confirmed, it should be. Let's run this. Order confirmed. Production started. You see, it's giving after that particular time has been elapsed. That is all. This is all done within set timeout, please. Give me a moment, please. I'll give you a time for you to do that. This is my complete code. If you look into this, it's more on one within another one. In case if I miss small comma or some block of code closing, we can debugging is very hard. If you look at this, this is called as an callback hell. Because where the code is going wrong, it's very difficult to track, difficult to debug. To avoid this, this is also good way, but we have the more readability problem and way of debugging is little hard in this way. To overcome this, promises is the second way of doing asynchronous operations. Alright, I'll talk that in a minute. I hope you all, let me copy this code. I think I cannot show that in a one go, right? So let me copy this code and show you in the notepad. How about, let me show only the order part. We wanted this to be simulated on our exercise. Exactly the same, alright? We'll start that in a minute. On the same exercise, same example, ice cream shop example, we will use for promises and async await. So that you would understand how we are overcoming one disadvantage over other and how we are evolving our async and await in a beautiful manner. Are you all with me, everybody? Does it making sense?
Yeah, Bilahari, is there any time for this? Since it is already
We have
5:50.
exercise on this actually.
So what is the time? I'm talking about time for exercise.
Since almost the code is similar, sir, we have more extra to be done in the exercise. They need to work on that extra thing. We'll start an exercise.
So we have 10 minutes left.
Yeah, that is more than
Okay. So you're not covering async today.
start. I think
Okay.
tomorrow I'll be not typing in the class. This is for the first example on the async await. Tomorrow I'll be directly showing the code. You have to understand, please. We have a lot to do tomorrow. Async await promises and async await plus node modules. I will be introducing you what are the inbuilt node modules coming and external node modules. How do you import it? How do you download it? How do you create a node project? We are all starting tomorrow, please.
Yeah, exercise started?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody refresh your dashboard.
Yeah. So meanwhile, I left out with 2 questions again. I said 5 questions here. So I think end of the session you heard about callbacks. Why do we use callback? Anyone? Why do we use callbacks? Yes, anyone who wants to answer? So I can come there. Why do we use callbacks? Here, one of the function is set timeout. So what is set timeout doing here? It is trying to hold the time span, right? It is holding that particular data for certain time. But why we call it as a callback function? Of course, the definition is calling a function inside a function. That's what callback is. That is the definition what sir has told. But why? Why do we require that? This is a commonly asked question. Anyone? Yes? Do you want me to tell the answer or you can explore? Do you want me to tell the answer? Yes?
Come on, speak out.
No, if you know, it's okay, no problem. If you want to explore, it's fine, no problem. Do you want me to tell the answer? I'll ready to tell also. Based on my understanding on real time. Yeah. So I'll tell the answer. Basically, when you open a website, that website is to be rendered, right? When it tries to render, it runs on a main thread, the main loop, the main thread. So when you use callback, whatever functionality that which hinders running the main thread, it is taken at a different thread. Different thread. So that functionality is working, that function works along with your main page. Main page does not stop, because if you call in a regular function is called, it has to wait for its return type, correct? Once the value is there, then the next call begins. But callback is something called as multi-threaded, which is a concept related to multi-threaded applications. It makes the network operation, generally network operations are written in callback, so that is taken at the back, and that is done independently of the main thread, which is rendering thread. So that is the use of callback functions, so that you don't feel stuck. Still the page renders, functions perfectly fine, but the background activities connecting to the database, connecting to certain third-party services will happen parallelly. That is the importance of this callback functions. And set timeout, when you see, because since you are seeing in the command prompt, you're not able to judge it, but when you see in a browser, when you write set timeout, still the code, if you use a normal timer function without timeout, your rendering will block. It just hangs till that process completes. When you write set timeout, you see the page rendered, and that function is also executed. Still executing, no problem. Page is rendered, fine. That observation, look at in your PS lab sessions, what changes will happen.
Yes. To
Yes.
add to Sir's point, we already talked about the runtime environment of a JavaScript. Basically, JavaScript is not a programming language, it's a scripting language. But how does this happen in parallelly? We do not have multi-threaded here. So internally, this JavaScript engine, internally taking help of the C++ library, which is called libuv, all right. So is C++ multi-threaded? Yes. So internally it is going to take care place. JavaScript taking the help of the C++ libuv library, and that is how the call stack functions which are on the call stack going to the another thread and running on its own page. When it is done, instead of going to the join to the main thread, it is going to join the callback queue. So there the callback queue is going to check the main call, call stack is free, then only it comes to the call stack and gets executed. That is how main thread is not stopping and your parallel thread is also not stopping. They are running simultaneously. Does it make sense now, everybody? Yes? Internally, JavaScript engine taking the help of the C++ library libuv, taking the help of it and running. That is how our synchronous JavaScript programming is coming as evolved as an asynchronous JavaScript. I'm sorry, not programming, scripting.
Okay, the last question here. I think this is different from this. How many of you know you can create a complete website using a diagram? You take a paper, draw the diagram, what you want, and just upload the diagram and you will get a React web app. How many of you know that, and what is a website? Pardon? V0? Okay. Okay. But that is paid. It's free. I have to check that out. Okay, he says V0, let me see. Is there anyone who has tested out? Is anyone who has tested out, you draw a piece, take a piece of paper, draw sidebar, login page with pen and paper, upload that image, you see a React app created. Or you see a wonderful website, you take a screenshot of that website, upload that image, you see a React app running, React app professional with all the optimized code. Yes? Galileo. Okay. Okay. Galileo is also, yes. But I'm asking the top notch tool. Black box is still there is, but I'm talking about the optimized code. Black box is one of the VS Code extension that it creates code. But is there any other tool? It's LLM, by the way. Very good. Claude 3.5 Sonnet. It's free, lifetime free. Please test it out. Draw the diagram, put it, you'll get the code. Okay, this is just an info. Okay? Okay, please do your exercise. And you can test my website also. It's called as WebSim. Just open WebSim. It uses Claude 3.5. You write, I want a pizza ordering website. It creates a website. Which color, which theme. We have created in partnership of open source community. It is free currently. You can optimize, create n number of UIs through that. WebSim. Okay? Yeah.
Look at the problem statement again here, please. We already have the stocks given to you, and we are asking user to ask the fruit what type of an order he wanted. After asking the fruit, we are asking the customer to be prefer his holders. I'm sorry. After asking the holder, we are asking the topping. After asking the topping, we are calling the production. For the production, your task is to fill out the production functionality based on the time requirement which I have given on the top of the problem statement. You see this? Production should start immediately. What does that mean? The set timeout should take the timer of how much time? 0, 0, 0, 0. That will raise a compilation error to you. 0, 0, 0, 0 will become an octal value. Just pass only the 0, please. Alright? So, for if anything as in 1 second, you mention as in 1,000. For 0, except for 0, you mention all the milliseconds in a 4-digit format. For 0 seconds, that's why I have taken that one. Start production immediately after taking the order. Your set timeout functionality for the production has to be 0. Alright? Please see the expected output for reference. That we have the test cases depending upon your type of fruit given. Okay. Alright? Depending upon your type of fruit, depending upon your type of toppings, depending upon type of holders, your test cases will be run. Almost the same code, please. Not almost, exact. And in the production there. So this is leading the call to callback hell, which is not readable. Let me talk a minute on it. So callback hell, you see the pyramid which we have constructed like all the way. If you miss some of it, it's very difficult to debug it, please. If you go on next in like this, task is doing correctly. For debugging, it's difficult. All right, and error handling is also difficult. So you see this as an example for the callback hell. I have taken only the two simple operations. Console.log start, set timeout for 1 second async operation. Assume this is fetching some data from the database. One more middle, set timeout, it is taking half a second and assume this is talking to the API and console.login. What will be the output for this? What will be the output for this? No, you are busy with coding. Alright. The output for this would be start, middle, because 1 second it has gone to the another thread, middle, and immediately async operation 2. It also gone to the another thread, end. So start, middle, and async operation 2. Actually, first we called for the async operation 1, which is for the higher thread. I mean higher time. So meanwhile, async operation 2 has come into the callback queue, and this way of controlling cannot happen using set timeout. I mean to say callback help. This also sometimes lead to the I'm lacking the sequential flow here, which I cannot get within callback help. So to avoid this, we do have the another way of doing async operations, promises. Alright, we look into the promises and async await operations along with the Node.js built-in modules and external modules tomorrow. Alright, please do the exercise.